Alright, welcome back to Copa America. Brand new best of 3 coming at you guys, and it's going to be a really good ZVT. Spawning here in the top right corner of the map from No Dice Gaming, the Blue Zerg player, Cham.
In the upper left has the Red Terran, it is Drewbie.
AKA Duck Hunt. I'm really glad he didn't go with like Mike.
Yeah, that would have been so lame.
That stupid dog noise, like that, the Kefka laugh, like there's some little like Nintendo like old references that like will never leave my brain, and failing to shoot the birds and having the dog laugh at me, gives me nightmares. But a pretty quick drone coming out of Cham here, and I don't think it's gonna be anything too cheeky. He might ironically cats it up with a hatchery, but for the most part I think he's just checking to see if it's gonna be a 2 racks or not. The best way to do that isn't to scout the actual racks, but to scout the lack of racks at home.
Yeah, that's what a lot of Zerg players are doing whenever they drone scout. Some are 100% on the drone scout too, you know. Some they do it so that you don't plan on it. Some just always do it. But he also sees no gas, which is fairly important. I mean,
yeah, it's you don't want to put a Reaper gas down on 13. That's gonna be late and awkward as heck. You
can get 1 Marine and a Reaper. I used to do that because the Marine would always get an Overlord kill because they assumed I was gonna go Reaper. I stopped since then. This could have also been a bit scary in that, like, you don't really see it in TVZ or really anywhere. It's not a very good build, I think. But 2 racks, you put their 1 racks here and another rack somewhere else, and you don't get gas, and you just 2 racks, 1 from far, 1 from near. But it is going to be a 15 gas, which is something we used to see all the time in TVP, never really in TVZ.
Well, you know, one of the other importances of this that we can't overlook is the fact this means that Cham himself didn't have to rush out of gas. He knew because there wouldn't be Reapers, he wouldn't have to get that 6-minute speed out. Which is really nice too, because then of course you can drone longer, you get the extra queen out if you want to, you can focus more on minerals and not about worrying about that meta block boost. And I mean, granted, you will eventually, but there are some builds that actually don't even incorporate it, and that's again leaning more towards like the Roach Hydra / Swarm Host type styles. But I've not seen enough Cham in recent days to know if that's going to be what his go-to is. I do know that Drewbie though has shown us through at least 1 series today in Copa America. He's really good at taking advantage of drops, and this is a map where you don't want to let him be able to do that.
What is this 15 gas for? You can still do the run racks expand as you did in Wings of Liberty. No gas until... I actually don't remember the supply count.
Well, here's why this is kind of fallen out of fashion, though. One of the biggest cons to not having Reapers across the map means you're not really corralling your opponent in the slightest. Cham can freely drone. He's not forced to waste any larvae on 6 lings now, which means he'll more easily make 12 lings later. You know, that's kind of the snowball effect of it, where you've just got the economy to boost whatever you want. And not to mention, again, those three Zerglings, or sorry, 3 sets of lings, 150 minerals, that's an extra queen. That's the creep spreading queen. That's the extra queen you need to deal with Hellbats. I mean, Impact showed us as well, while these Hellbat pushes are really scary, they're not unstoppable, and you can deal with them with just queens.
Yeah. Usually with a typical 1 rack expand, no gas until after the command center, you get the benefit of having, well, a better economy, and also what we saw Drewbie doing, which was going around and trying to snipe overlords that were, you know, erroneously put across the map. But
Drewbie do. I'm sorry, I can't. Like,
he scouted that wasn't the case, so I'm surprised that Drewbie even tried to scout for an overlord. Although, honestly, Habit's pretty powerful stuff. Cham could have just sent his overlords where he usually does anyways, without taking into account that there would be Marines out on the map. But either way, he gets to a point that we're used to seeing -1 or 2 Reapers.
yeah, so I mean, it's kind of taking the control away, but that's the other con to this as well, like, where you could have maybe sniped off a creep tumor and bought yourself that 1 extra sort of leapfrog amount of time. The Hellions will eventually get that job done, but kind of in a predictable, there we go, English is hard, fashion, we have a Roach Warren coming up. But Cham's done something that's very subtle that I actually like a lot, and that's the 1 creep tumor bouncing up here to then connect to the natural. This is going to actually give him vision of that 1 odd dead space in the map, where normally you'll see drops come on this ledge and go unscouted.
The Roach one was put down. It could just, again, be for a couple of roaches to make sure that the gold isn't too heavily under fire, as it is quite a far ways away for creeping it over there. Or he could really just be going for roaches.
Well, I mean, again, you don't have to invest in the roaches. You can just kind of make 5, 10, be happy with the early game. Oh, if you could have sniped that drone, that would have been really nice, actually, because Drewbie did not scout the gold up here. So he may have thought it was down to 2 bases, but really, this is 4, very early.
The Hellions do manage to slip by, even with some good micro on those queens on the front, and the drones were also pulled. It always looks so dangerous to do that, but luckily they were far away enough from the Hellions.
You know, what's nice is you do need those 3 shots to volley them down, so these drones are not in the worst danger in the world.
Yeah,
might take a little bit
shot.
of pepper. Yeah.
Doesn't even matter. Drewbie is getting some marauders, though. He scouted a couple of the roaches. He, of course, scouted the roach warren just then, so he knew to get at least 1 or 2 to be safe.
Well, I like the reactor coming down. This will allow him to get those medevacs out a little bit quicker, so he's not going to bother wasting any time with the Banshee. But again, for Drewbie, the real unfortunate thing is he doesn't know about the gold. This looks like a standard game coming out of Cham, but as we know, that's not really the case.
Honestly, with that what he saw was a bit of a later third with roaches. He might have been a little bit paranoid, but as we know, it was just a really early 4th. In fact, he's not overreacting or anything like that. He's not throwing down a bunch of bunkers, but he could be a little more hesitant about everything. And in fact, I think his engineering bays were late. I think he got the barracks out faster and delayed his upgrades a little bit.
This wall's going to hold strong. It's a little bit scary having the command center here, but this is not really a vulnerability either. I mean, it's only 6 roaches. This is not something that's going to tear this down.
Yeah, like, the vulnerability of having that is that you might lose it, but who wastes 20 banelings on a command center with the wall?
Although, if you lift it, different story altogether. He replaces the bunkers right away, or the supply depots right away. But again, Cham is going off a gold base that Drewbie's unaware of, and I really hope this underestimation, this lack of scouting doesn't cost Drewbie the game, because this is snowballing Cham's economy pretty hardcore, like slingshotting this massively far hit. He's on 70 drones between 4 bases. He's able to spend whatever he wants on money, quite frankly, and what he's going to make is a lot of Zerglings paired up with a lot of Banelings.
The real question is, did that affect his game plan at all? Because you don't usually see the Terran player move out until they have medevacs anyways, so seeing a gold base, yes, it's more knowledge, and more knowledge is always better. Words of wisdom in life, but you wouldn't do anything about it anyways until now.
I like this standard 12-minute Zergling speed timing that's coming out here, the metabolic boost.
Yeah, he's also dedicating into Lings again. It wasn't his intention to go for anything but roaches, so it is kind of a late speed.
Well, the thing is, though, he was never forced to make it, so it's understandable why it's late. He'll scout these double drops coming to Drewbie towards the south, and should be able to position his army in time to deal with this.
I think he's okay.
I don't think Cham knows that his gold base is gone unscouted, though. I mean, the spine crawler, the army positioning, it just looks like he's ready to defend it.
Yeah, and this looks like a well-timed 4th down here as well, so that is coming to an unfortunate place right now, because doing these drops here, it's so much easier when they don't have mutas, and he's not getting mutas for a while. He also messes up that drop, by the way. No reason to lose the drop at all. Is that you can go from the gold to the main and back and forth all you want, and it's very, very powerful. And if you don't know that it's there, you don't even think about doing that. So he just missed that opportunity.
Drewbie's 1-1 finishing up here in a second, too. He's going to have to deal with some Banelings waddling in here. However, goes through the bunker, goes through the depots, connects to a good chunk of the SCVs! And while not devastating damage, only 5 died. Actually, well, only 5 died? That looked like, wait, well, I guess there's 2 mules in there, too, but, it's still, it caught him off guard. Something now he's going to have to brace for the rest of the game. More Banelings coming in the middle of the map, and, again, this is Cham's economy just absolutely getting out of control.
Well, it's also just the decision. He's counting it up right here. Instead of going for any type of spire, which, usually is what you do for the long game, he's going for a very powerful Roach Baneling attack. This drop goes undefended. This could be something to really bring Drewbie back into this game, because I don't know if we can hold the front.
Yeah, this is going to be pretty all-in out of both players at this point. One's going to have to defend, of course, one's going to have to attack, but the Banelings take care of most of the Marines here at the front lines. There's absolutely nothing to stop the Roaches, and honestly, wasting time on the third base, if anything. He's just got to go through and get on top of that production. The second he kills Drewbie's production is the second he claims this game. But back at home, Zerglings are speeding up here towards the main. A couple Roaches are coming. He will clean this drop-up. It cost him a base, but that's okay. He's still out of gold.
Yeah, Drewbie might think that he's in a better position than he is. As far as he's concerned, he cleaned up the main and he cleaned up the 4th. still think he's on 2 bases.
So many of these SCVs are just one shot from dying. That blatantly connect earlier was not quite what it needed to be, but even this drop gets cleaned up thanks to the Spine Crawl. This is absolutely Cham's game to lose at this point. His army supplies double that of his opponents. The roaches are looking unstoppable, even though there's marauders here, and so many SCVs have bled out. 44 have gone down, and there's, quite frankly, only a handful remaining for Drewbie.
This is game over for Drewbie. As fortunate as it is, we are just waiting for the game.
Yeah. GG.
There we go. So I really think that game went down to like lack of scouting. It looked like he was I mean, he's getting a lot of marauders, which you would think, okay, he knows it's gonna be roaches, but maybe thinking it was gonna be roach hydra and abusing the fact there's no hydras, not realizing it was gonna be roach baneling, which is a big attack that you have to prepare for.
I want to pretend like that gold base wasn't the biggest deal, but I bet you the second Drewbie flew over that to drop the main, he was like, son of a you know, just, oh, you have that apparently. Oh, am I making the next game? I think I'm making the next game.
You know, when did he scout the gold? I don't remember when I checked. I was like talking about how he hadn't scouted the gold, that as far as he can see, he's only on 2 bases.
I kept checking the vision, and he didn't see it for a long time.
Did he even see it when he doom dropped the main, or did he go someplace? Did he go like just far enough north that he didn't see anything? I could have sworn I checked while the all-in was happening, so I don't even know if he saw it ever. It'd be pretty funny.
Yeah,
likely.
No idea if that was the case, but we're already in the lobby for the next game, guys. So, merry-go-round. Let me go update the map interest here. Actually, we're going to squeeze in a commercial break, not because we want to abuse you guys, because one of the players has just gone AFK. So, we're going to be about 2 minutes, and then we should be back right away with the game, guys. So, stick with us. We'll see you for game number 2 here in a moment. Alright, you guys are back just in time for game number 2. Let's swap those around. There we go. It's a best of 3 for Copa America. This is the 4th qualifier, and Horus is out of the game. And then, I don't think was he a caster or just an admin?
He was just an admin. He left last time.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. You're always a little bit worried, like, can we remake? Like, I've got all chat. Anyways, without further ado, in game number 2, currently down 1 at the moment. If you're in chat, raise your kappas. It is Root Gaming's Root for Root, Drewbie, the Red Terran.
Kappas.
Did I say it? Kappas? Whatever.
You got a little said like kappas. And I was like, are you capping us?
It's my Canadian accent coming in.
And upper left as the blue Zerg, he is Cham.
Heralding from New Dice Gaming. just to continue with the weird
Mew.
pronunciations to even that all out. But this is a map that is in a weird spot for TVZ. We could go on about Roach Hydra, but the bottom line for this is this map is heavily influenced by spawn locations, and this is a spawn location that I wouldn't say is horrible for Drewbie. Sorry, I'm just reading the name here, guys. By any means, but this is also a map where for Cham, I kind of feel like he can get crazy with expansions. You know, going all the way north is not going to be too hard to stop.
I had to research what this word meant because it looked really familiar. Cham. So I'm gonna Google this.
Oh, okay. I thought that was like I already looked it up. Here's what it means. The moment.
I saw this one is an ethnic group in Southeast Asia. Is that where it's from? I don't know.
Okay. At any rate, guys, one thing is worth noting, we're currently in round 3. We're pretty much on schedule to where we would like to be, but if you got some players you're looking for, you want to know who's casting them where, a good thing to do would be checking the other streams. You can do this in combination Team Liquid or through Reddit, where there's plenty of information displayed. If you're here with us live in Twitch, ! Reddit will link you to the Reddit thread with all the other information, including brackets, prize pools, and what have you, but alternatively, if you just want to see the brackets, do us a favor, type ! Brackets. You'll have to click qualifier 4, but today is the last possible qualifier. Tomorrow on Friday, we'll be playing out the finals matches and the third place matches to determine group stages and placements for a lot of the players who've gotten through. But today, top 4 players will qualify to Copa America Season 2.
Yeah. Now, usually, as I don't know, it's not really meant to be mean, but we've usually seen in these qualifiers pretty much one-sided stomps, or people who weren't one-sided stomps, but they probably weren't the contenders for top 4. So it was really obvious by the time we got into this rounds, right before the semifinals, we were like, hey, this person gets through, this person gets through, you know, these two are going to get stomped kind of thing. What's really disappointing, both these guys so evenly matched, and only one of them gets through.
Yeah, I mean, this could have been a finals match easily. I think the thing is, though, and this was great about Copa America, for those who don't know, again, we got standard stuff coming on, so we're not really paying attention to the 6 links coming out. You can see that with your eyes. Copa America had a very interesting Season 1. The history of it isn't too long, and we're not going through like this big, boring history lesson, but in Season 1, it was all about bringing the communities together. You know, getting the Spanish, the Brazilian, the Latin communities to work together for one giant league, which was cool and which was awesome. This is Season 2. Season 1 worked out so well. Not only did Blizzard increase the prize pool for this, and yes, you heard me, Blizzard increased the prize pool for this, but on top of that, they've included the rest of North America. So that's why we're seeing some of our favorites like Drewbie playing here today, like Cats earlier. Well, I think Cats would have been able to qualify for Copa America anyways. The point remains, though, that we have so much involvement from Blizzard in this, we got so much community involvement from the actual players of the various regions, that Copa America, it might not be WCS, but damn if it isn't a good thing for the community.
It's very close to it. You know, the more... I don't know what their plan is, whether they actually have a scale, like, where they're like, okay, Copa America has reached this many people, now let's make South America like a WCS region. I doubt that's how it goes, but it would be really cool if this is just like the start, you know, and then maybe a few years even down the road. I don't know. This is what evolves into it.
Kind of reminds me of Australia, though. The same token, you know, another community segmented.
It's exactly the same thing, I would say.
Well, but the difference is Australia doesn't really have Copa America, whereas they've just got seeding into Challenger League.
Yeah, no, never mind. You're right. That's what they have.
This is just a straight up $15,000 prize pool. This doesn't lead into WCS by any means, but it is worth noting, guys, that whoever wins this best of 3 will be one of the players who qualify for today. So I mean, we can't stress that enough. For Drewbie, for Duck Hunt, or sorry, for Drewbie or Cham, I know I keep reading the name at the top of the screen. For either Drewbie or Cham, this series means a lot, because it's not only like you're so close to actually qualifying, but there's no losers bracket. But all right, third command is down. We got those Hellions coming out at pretty due time. I don't know, like that map, I just feel like Drewbie played a really solid game, just didn't play to the map, you know, and this is another map where if this was Frost, it might be a different story, but because it's merry-go-round, you have to play to the map.
I would say Drewbie didn't play to... No, that's not right. He didn't have any scouting information, alright? So he didn't play to anything.
Right, but that's what I mean,
He was
like,
playing
what...
to the standard, you know, what he thought was going to happen.
Okay, but let me ask you this, Samgrab. Do you really think if that was not a gold base, but a regular quick 4th, yeah, that would have snowballed so quickly?
Yeah. He had no idea that it was Roach Baneling all in. You would have bunkers, you would maybe even still have tanks. He just thought that it was going to be a regular game, maybe even Roach Hydra, which he did play against before, and he beat back without the bunkers. I think the gold, while definitely a boon, wasn't the decider.
Okay, maybe. But we do have some drones dying while this is going on, so I didn't want to cut you off. But 6 workers down so far, 7. Doesn't exactly get the best cost for these Hellions, but he did drive all the workers off the main for a good like 30-40 seconds. But Cham, bringing up the point of what we just talked about, once again going for some very fast fourth. And this is kind of again what I was mentioning earlier, where you're going to get away with the northern half of the map. Just the bottom line is it's, even though it's technically a mirrored map 3 ways, it's a lot to do with these sort of air blockers that really affect positioning, affect flybys, and of course you're never going to have Drewbie try and wrap around the north for that base, whereas he'd much be more inclined to wrap around the south to this one.
Here's the problem for Cham right here. We finally have these positions where it's very obvious what Drewbie can do against the 4th, and that's he goes to the Zelnaga, he takes Zelnaga control, which is already, you know, really, really good to have, but then is a direct, like, you can have that and also a direct attack on the 4th. You just siege up, you know, you don't actually have tanks, but you siege up some units on low ground and then pick them up in the high ground, and you just stay there and you abuse that forever until they can finally really squash your army.
You know, actually, I can't help but think with Starbuck this morning. We cast the Easter Team Strike Cup, and he did this really cool move where he knocked down those rocks.
Oh,
Definitely
yeah.
something that Cham could consider doing if he was going to go for some sort of crazy all-in. But the Reapers have been cleaned up on the map at this point. No additional drones have died, but he's up to 70 Harvesters already, and this is kind of that sweet spot you want to be. He's trying to float the command center over, but Cham's already blocking it out with the Overlords.
Wait, we were talking. Oh, that's right. You used them on the. That's what happened. Cham just really. I was wondering what happened to Hellions. Cham has been able to do whatever he wants, and that's too bad for Drewbie. But Drewbie does have much faster upgrades this time. Last time it started around 10 minutes. Here, Cham's same time as last time, which means they're a lot later.
Well, Cham's upgrades are also pretty late too. I mean, metabolic boost and all things considered.
That's what I'm saying. Cham's is late. Drewbie's is a lot faster than last time. Cham's the exact same as last time.
Oh, okay. So I thought you meant I thought you were talking with role reversal, I guess.
Yeah.
No medevacs here just yet to get a little bit late, but they can pick this army up to save it. He's going to kite around a little bit to deal with this, but that's the reinforcements coming. This looks a lot better. Problem is, army's still low.
Yeah. It is, but Cham doesn't have a lot of banelings. That's what you need to really power through the healing of the medevacs. That is why, you know, just roaches is not that good.
Yeah, the burst damage.
Yeah, and Drewbie continue doing this.
Well, he's looking to assault this base, that's for sure. The problem is the longer he waits, the better chance there's more banelings. Stims once again in this army, which was low before, isn't looking a whole lot better, but he needs to get off creep if he really wants to force a good fight.
Oh, still no combat shields either. That is late. That's 12:30. I think it's finished before that. I wonder what do you know the math about the roach hits versus a marine without combat shields rather?
I don't know, didn't Nathanius post like or talk about something like that on Twitter?
Oh, who reads Nathanius? I'm just kidding.
You know, actually, this is a bit problematic. I would have liked to have seen Duck Hunt, aka Drewbie, invest in one of those Pult style 1 Vikings, because every game he's played today, he gets caught. Like these Overlords, surprise! That's why he disengages immediately.
Yeah, I was just owing because Drewbie gave away his upgrade lead. No one ever admits to that, yo. Everyone's always like, sec, lag, sec, had to do something. I'm guessing a lot more of those pauses are for music stopping.
We had, Starbuck on the phone this morning too, I think, right?
Well, okay, yeah, phone is still kind of a legitimate reason, I suppose. But no one admits that it's the music that stopped.
No one wants to admit their cat knocked over their desk, jumping around from chair to chair type thing. But all right, Drewbie's gonna go for an attack here. Problem is, no matter what he wants to get accomplished, he's not gonna be allowed to. I like the decisive secondary attack him through the middle of the map, but the northern one's already been scouted out, so this won't be the distraction that he wanted it to be. In fact, forced to pick up pretty much immediately.
I'm gonna snipe some banelings. Again, we could have a position where Drewbie doesn't think that mutas are on the way. They weren't last time, and he was just attacked with Roach Baneling. This time, they're here. They can take on these medevacs. He will not be able to abuse the drops like last time.
Get some good ones over here on the middle cliff. But he doesn't kill a lot of the drones, only the Spine Crow goes down. So Baneling's coming in, he's not focused firing them, tries to run away, goes for the pickups a little bit late. Gonna leave. Why did he leave 3 Marauders behind?
It's gotta be misclick. I mean, there's a possibility that all the Banelings would explode on him, but it was a low possibility. Oh, the upgrades are such a big deal. We should already have 2-2 well on the way for Drewbie. Like, almost finished. Does he even have an armory? He has an armory. Why aren't you using it? And look at his minerals. Okay, I'm calling you on it, Drewbie. Last time he was banking minerals, he was like, I think, you know, I hope no one called me on that. Well, now I am.
Yeah, 1,500 minerals is quite a bit, but I don't know. This is gonna be a really hard hold. This command center needs to lift. Bailey's going into it. Actually,
oh my God, lift. Oh no.
Hang on, that might actually end up working though, because now there's no Baileys for the army, and Drewbie could pursue this. There's not a lot of Baileys left.
Counterattack swift enough to take advantage of it.
I don't know. He's got those drops in the north still just kind of sitting, but of course he's busy controlling down here towards the south. Marines doing what they can. On top of the command center going down, he actually supply blocked himself with that too, so that makes it even worse. Now the drops in the north being activated, but there's still a spine crawler or two here to defend, so it's not going to be a free attack by any means in Cham. Well, Cham's looking really good after that attack.
Fortunately for Drewbie, he has that fourth finishing up right now, and he had all those minerals banking up to just produce another command center anyways. So his actual economy doesn't... Yeah, well, he also bumped SCVs. But he's still at 67, so never mind, he's fine. Just retake that third instantly.
Yeah, if he didn't already have a third command center ready to go... well, wait, he's building a location? I thought he was going to move the one he had just finished building over, but...
Mistake, I think.
Alright, well, still pushing forward here hard. There's not a lot of Baileys left. There's enough that he can focus fire them if he wanted to, but instead picks up. And this is a danger because of those Mutalisks. Now if he wants to unload the army, it's coming out so slow.
Oh, yeah. He has to unload on top of Lings. Just not what you need. This command center can be cancelled after soaking up some hits.
Not going to be by the looks of it. He's still got a couple Woodmines he can try cutting over top of, but it goes off on top of the Overseer instead of anything useful. So the Mutalisks are just doing a ton of damage. He is starting to focus right down some of these Baileys really well, though, and this sort of engagement off of creep is what Drewbie really needs. Cham is throwing away a lot to this attack, and I think Cham overestimated just how much he could end the game right now. Because Drewbie, he snuck in a third while this was going on.
Was that enough? It looks like it's still even. Cham,
It hurts.
he's on 4 bases. There was a drop that was running around a little bit, but it didn't do a whole lot.
These Woodmines, by the way,
here.
Who gets one of the Mutalisks? That was the longest reaching Widowmine I think I've seen yet.
The upgrades are finally finishing. With 2-2 finished at 18 minutes. It's just, this hurts me.
Why did he unbarrel the Those are safe! Okay, whatever. Repositioning the rest of the Widowmines. The friendly fire on top of the Medivacs makes them all so low. The Mutalisks will have no problem picking them off. Now trying to cut away from this. So those Widowmines were the worst possible connections Drewbie could have ever feared.
Thanks a lot, Widowmans.
Oh my
Thanks,
God,
Blizzard.
Yeah, he doesn't lose like 1 or 2 Medivacs. He loses almost every single Medivac to this. You can lose Marines all day, you can lose Marauders all day, but you can't lose those Medivacs.
He just lost the majority of the supply as well. Like, we were like, oh, he's kind of even in supply, but a lot of that
Oh, wait, hang on,
Medivacs.
he's gonna make up for it, he's gonna make up for it! He picks up almost all the Mutalisks!
That was roughly a 1-to-1 trade. I mean, like 6 Medivacs or 6 Mutalisks right there.
Yeah, but still, I think the Medivacs are a little more important.
Yeah, I do as well. Because he's not really relying on the Mutalisk a whole lot on it. His ground army's the one that's really winning out. This, by the way, was what I expected. A very slow, patient game of, you know, keeping your units on the low ground with that Thor to cover and then lifting up occasionally. And it's not been that way for Drewbie. No.
Middle of the map getting caught once again. Widowmines being more harmful than they are helpful, sadly. Thor doing what he can, but can he save it with the Medivac? Oh, that might have been risky. He's got the high ground, so he gets away from the Lings, but there's still Roaches in range of this. Marauders are not in a good spot, and this base has still never gone down. The thing, though, this did open up a pathway for reinforcements to get here. There's too many Lings blocking this out before.
Cham is slowly starting to lose in supply. I mean, Drewbie has had a third. He is getting a fourth right now.
If it wasn't for that third, those were good Bailing or Widowmine hits. About time the Widowmines gave some karma back to Drewbie. Now he may actually be able to kill his base finally.
Maybe. You know, for as long as Cham has been on 4 bases, I thought his remax control was going to be so much better. But constantly fighting off of creep, constantly thinking that he has a kill move when he didn't quite, is finally starting to bite him.
Oh man, I just can't. The Widowmines this game have been so back and forth, I think we'll say, to save some more inappropriate phrases. But the Widowmines are not here, and this small drop is still not picking off the hatchery. A base was established here to the north, but a small counterattack goes off elsewhere. The Banelings look like they weren't that effective. I don't even know what happened there.
Not at all. He still has another. He still has enough money for a 5th command center.
What Mines once again? Can they get the heroic hits they need? We got the Marines kiting back past this, but GG is gonna be called. Drewbie takes the game. You know, I'm supposed to mark down highlight moments. I think that's gonna be one of them. That game, Widow Mines, Drewbie, Cham, game 2.
You have to show like all 3 Widow Mine hits though, so it's very clear that the last one was finally what he deserved.
Right? All right. Well, that ties up the series 1-1, guys, and we'll be hopping to game 3 here in just a moment. I have heard your cries about the hyperlinks. I did not know this was an issue. I don't really do a lot with the channel other than stream to it, guys, so I have turned those off and hopefully won't get yelled at by the Blizzard people for doing so. So hopefully hyperlinks will start working again for bracket commands, for Reddit commands, etc. But yeah, we should be able to get into another game here very shortly. And actually, what is map? Map number 3 is Way Station. All right. Weird vetoes to have no frost involved with this, huh? Well, if you guys are on the Twitters, make sure to hashtag SC2 Copa America. Talk about this match. Get the conversation going. There's some pretty good... I don't know, that game. I'm just so mad and angry at what am I...
Yeah, they just aren't what they used to be.
I miss the old splash radius.
Well, it used to be like if they messed up once, you're like, it's okay, sweetie, it's fine.
Yeah, you guys will do better next time.
Yeah, just anytime they don't mess up, it's still not that amazing.
I actually don't know if we're hosting or not, so I'll find out here in a sec. Because one of the other items has been hosting the other game, so just trying to find this out. If they don't host, I'll go host. Screw it. We'll just do it. Way Station. Don't get mad at us, admins. Nobody responded. Just want to get this going. Hey, join off, maybe you can. All right, let me make sure there's no one missing from this. I forgot to do intros. Load this up. What is this? Way Station 5. All right. Hopping into the last game. We'll see you guys in a moment. Oops, there we go. That's the correct scene. Oh, I forgot to update the score. So Zombie Rep, while I do that, would you mind kicking off introductions?
Never writes as the Blue Zerg. It is Cham from No Days Gaming.
And his opponent at the bottom left, just now tying up the series 1-1. Let's get that round of Kappas, as I pronounce it correctly this time. Raise your Kappas, get the KPM up, guys. Cheer for Red Drewbie, root for Root, the Red Terran. Like I said, that a little bit odd, so Drewbie, if that wasn't obvious. But swap the colors around at the top because that was incorrect. Guys, we got possibly the most entertaining spawn locations on this particular map for this final game to be going down. And again, I can't help but stress, the player who wins this game, the player who wins this series, they qualify for Copa America Season 2 outright. They'll move on to the group stages. And of course, we don't know which group stage or whatnot just yet, but they will move on to the group stages. So this qualifying, this is the fourth, the final, the last qualifier, and this is one of the qualifying matches.
Yeah. It's not the last match, or the next one isn't the last match either, as they will play placements, and then the finals will be played tomorrow, I believe.
Yeah, and it's going to be pretty awesome. We'll be back for that every Thursday, Friday, and Sunday, guys. Copa America here with Rifkin and Zombie Grub, bringing you the English cast. And I hope you guys have been enjoying it so far. We actually, you know, I talked at the beginning of the broadcast about maybe if we could crest over 1,000 viewers, that would be awesome. But we're currently rocking 1,500. What's up, English-speaking people? How you all doing? Thank you guys for joining us tonight. But we have a guest this time at a Drewbie, so we will actually get to see Reapers. Won't be any sort of weird passive play.
I was hoping for a T-Rex. Gosh darn it.
Gosh darn it. You know what? I don't know. T-Rexes have not really been working out a whole lot on this map. I'm sure it's got a specific. There's gonna be those players who can always make a T-Rex work, but I don't know. We're not seeing a lot of cheese on the new maps, quite frankly. I mean,
that wasn't
to be
like
honest,
an analytical thing. Just like.
Well, no, but I mean, like, I'm just thinking, like, I think on Overgrowth, Cass is the only player I've ever seen T-Rex. I mean, the Muslim, of course, is an exception, but there's actually not been a lot of T-Rexing out of Terrans on any of the new maps. Not that we've cast, at least. Can you think of many? I'm actually thinking, like...
How many Terrans do we cast?
I don't know, we actually do cast a fair amount of Terrans,
yeah,
but, I mean, it is strange to consider, because, you know, you have Habitation Station, it's the perfect map for T-Rexing. Frost even gets it, even though it's a 4-player spawn map. But all the new 2-player ones have kind of just been like, eh, not gonna happen. But classic and standard play hops above the Easter egg of the map, the Alliance, and of course the Horde. Woo! Shout out to any WoW players out there. Or I guess just Warcraft in general.
Yeah, you can't just ignore the Warcraft people, they came first.
Well, I mean, it's both. I don't know, whatever. Drone Snipe is a really nice way to start off here for Drewbie. You know, last time we saw Waystation on these spawn locations, we talked a little bit how Reapers aren't so hot. They don't have as many ways to get into the base, but here they certainly do. You have a whole extra ledge compared to the other spawn locations to hop up in there and do a bit of damage, to do a little bit of harass.
These lings thinking maybe they can sneak past, it looks like. Rarely ever do you see 6 lings on the way, because that is a dedication that you don't need to do. 2 lings will take care of an SCV just as well as 6. And it's not like they're getting up to the main either. Or it might have been just a misclick.
Once again, in the wall, we got that 3rd CC coming down. This choke, significantly smaller than its bigger brother over here. 3rd Reaper, though. This has got to be queen killing potential. Now, the big thing about this 3rd Reaper, guys, is it does delay your factory. It does delay the reactor ever so slightly. Not significantly, but you kind of have to do damage with these.
The damage you can do is pretty much just killing a queen or killing a lot of lings. Rarely do you see them dive for the drone line, especially on such a map where it's not that you have a very easy exit strategy. Usually, this is timing, but as he has scouted the main, he knows that the 6-minute timing is not there.
Yeah, I was going to say he dipped in there and saw no gas damage. I didn't even consider that for a while, so this means he's going to be able to sit around for a lot longer. And this 3rd Reaper...
Kill the creep tumors. That is one thing you can do with 3 Reaper. E2, actually, but 3,
well,
definitely.
he can still kill the queen. I mean... The
creep tumors could be so easy, though. No.
Yeah, I think killing the creep tumor is better in scenarios where you can, but Drewbie was not looking for that opportunity. Back at home, though, I mean, he's got a lot coming up. He's got some hellings coming across the map as well. There's only 1 queen in the main, strangely enough, so he could actually just straight up kill that, but goes for drone kills instead. And 2 volleys from 3 Reapers is giving you enough. Cham, a little bit in trouble here.
Oh, yeah. As I said, rarely do you see the 3 Reapers really get any more drone kills unless something spiral way out of control, like the kill queens and the lings.
The 3 Reapers, I think you mean the 3 banditos. No? Okay.
I wish the stream could see my face. But...
Just do like a quick face palm. This is why we don't do caster cameras, guys, because you'd see Zombie Grub just be really disappointed in Rifkin 24/7.
Like the best eye rolls. masterpieces.
Okay, 4 Hellions, 3 Reapers. This is certainly an amount to consider dealing with Queens, but as we see, Cham has invested in Roaches, so no longer is this the big threat that it once was. The problem is, though, for Cham at least, Drewbie's kind of going Marauders behind this. Now, this is a really funny dynamic to the matchup, because you didn't see Marauders. You'd think, like, why not just go blindly Marauders? You're always going to see those Roaches, but a reason you don't see these invested in, at least till recent days, was you'd see this faster Mutalisks, you would have no anti-air, you'd be completely caught off guard with your pants down. But because he's investing in so many Roaches like this, he's not exactly speeding his way to his Spire. Now, he doesn't know about the layer timing finish up in a moment here, but if you overinvest in the Roaches, it could be really problematic moving here to the mid-game. We'll get 1 Queen, we'll get 2 Queens, and run right past these towards that drone line. Oh, he gets a 3rd Queen! Oh!
Those early Reaper harass really paying off with this one.
Yeah, it was the long con, so to speak. I mean, the damage didn't really seem that big of a deal earlier on, but unprepared, unready for that attack. No transfuses went down, and drone lines have been pulled. We have that double expand coming on once again. Ooh, that's going to be a bit annoying.
Poor Roaches, he doesn't even need to pull the SCVs.
Yeah. Safe than sorry, but alright, the Hellions get cleaned up at the end of the day. They killed about 11 workers, well, between the couple Reapers as well, but as far as cost effectiveness goes, barely. Bottom line, I think the big thing was killing the Queens. It slows down creep spreading, it stops injects for a little bit, and of course with 4 hatcheries up, I guess the larva count will be fine.
He did scan the 3rd, so he knows it's not going to be an all-in off the 2 bases, that he's just, you know, hasn't seen the Baneling Nest or something like that yet. I guess Cham's kind of like thing is that he double expands almost. You know, you don't usually see a double expand unless it's way later in the game, and usually by the time they have mutas. But when he gets his 3rd, almost immediately after that, always it's the 4th. So they kind of finish it on the same time. It's just not what we usually see. I don't really know if it's working out for him more or hurting him. I don't know.
It's a bit greedy, but the thing is, with the way Terran players have been opening the matchup, unless they've snowballed out of control pushing into your own natural, it's not like they're going to be segmenting 3 remaining Hellions up to the top left to destroy a hatchery anytime soon. If there had been a Banshee coming up, maybe this would be a little bit different, but as we've seen, there's been no Banshees involved for Drewbie at all this series.
That is so surprising, too, because all the games, Cham has been getting Roaches, whether or not even dedicated to him is another question. So that helps you against any attacks. That's a free roach-killing machine that doesn't die. And it also gives you the opportunity to take advantage of the fact that he does double expand without Queen and anti-air support. That blew my mind right there. That would have been a great thing to do against this specific player.
Alright, well, this attack is heading northwards. He doesn't know about the base. He's probably aiming to hit that 3rd, but for now he'll take the watchtower. Drewbie's been doing these really nice double drops. I gotta give him credit for it, but the last game really didn't get a lot done with it.
You notice that all 3 games, I believe, he doesn't really add in Widow Mines until much later. Now, this could be in response to the fact that he's always seen Roaches, and if they're going to go for Roaches and Roach Hydra, you don't really get Widow Mines. But it's always kind of assuming. He's not scouting for the Spire or clicking on the links for the upgrades or
oh my god,
what have you.
This is like what Drewbie's been doing all day, just barely not killing buildings.
The Gas Kaiser, oh no.
It's such a minor thing. When he's on 4 bases, I guess it's not the biggest priority, but still, like 11 HP, that's like 1 more Marauder shot would have finished that.
Yeah. But in return for not getting the Widow Mines, as you would normally see, you know, the 2 medevacs worth of Marines and maybe 2 Widow Mines, he has a much bigger ground army, and the goal is usually that the Marauders soak up any Banelings that the Widow Mines would usually be either soaking up themselves or hitting with their blasts.
You know, as far as the unit counting station looks right now, a little bit scary. Mostly because Cham doesn't have a lot of creep spread here in the north, where Drewbie's looking to apply pressure. If there's more creep spread heading leftwards, this would be different, but with only 7 Banelings and a much, much smaller army supply by almost half, I don't know if he can hold this.
Banelings can do a lot, but there is no creep spread. The Queens, they die. They couldn't get over here even if they didn't die. He takes care of everything, but he loses a lot of Banelings, and there's always the option of just getting out with the medevacs. The Spire's always late.
He sneaks a drop into just about every base. As they respond to the main of the natural, this other drop re-unloads here. Now, this one medevac needs to move. Because Sporecrawler being a bit of a nuisance. That's a hell of a lot of Marines. Jesus.
Yeah, he was going to defend, and then he pulled back accidentally. That was, I don't know if that was on purpose or perfect, like, you know, accidents, but he kills all the Banelings and then picks up the Marines. That was so close.
Yeah, again, that kind of just looked like a happy coincidence, but Drewbie getting a lot of damage done. Sad thing is, not getting a lot of kills for it is what it is considered. Remember, those 11 workers from earlier died to the Hellions, not to this. So he's only really gotten like 4 workers for like what is an insane amount of drops.
He gets an army for army, which is something you can do without drops, and probably in a more calm, confident situation.
It's odd, but the key thing is he killed a lot of Banelings. There's only 1 available at the moment. There's 19 morphing in.
This is so unnecessary. You can clearing up creep. Usually, it's best to just send a little bit of a task force ahead, not put your entire army onto creep. But he felt confident enough, I suppose, that his drops were distracting.
Got some decent Widowmite connects there. I don't know. I would have liked to have seen a lot more focus towards the main, or not the main, the top left base here, rather than what was going on with the main and the natural. But same time, we got to give props to Cham. That was really well defended. I mean, that was 4 different locations being applied pressure to at the same time, and it wasn't like it was like 1 Marine running by. Those were full-on drops. Yeah,
that's true. Doing a very good job against what Drewbie probably plays other players and does absolute damage with it, which is really good, but. He was pretty perfect against it. I would prefer just a straight-up engagements, just calmly attacking the 4th, trying to take the engagement off of the creep that was not there up until just recently.
These Banelings can walk around the bunker. They said to bust through it. That's fine. SCVs are going to feel the pressure. Kind of awkward like last time, though. He gets like 9 workers for like 8 Banelings. I guess it's an okay trade. Nothing amazing.
If he forgets to build a bunker again, only Lings or another few Banelings could do a lot of damage, but as he's expanding over to the rights, the Banelings will no longer really have the opportunity.
That is so many Zerglings in play right now. The key thing is they're only on 1-1. I mean, level 2 is on the way, but it's going to be this weird dynamic where Drewbie's is going to be finished up a little bit sooner, and that could thin out enough of the Zergling horde that they won't get to benefit from that 2-2. Although, say that, we got a lot of Banelings coming in still.
Cham without the consistent creep spread. Well, there was the Banelings I was talking about. Just barely doesn't have enough to kill the command center.
Oh, I hope he repairs this.
I hope so as well.
This is a better creep spreading crew, but it's still, I feel like, an over-investment in it.
So many Marauders.
Yeah, the Marauders are really nice, of course, for the Banelings. Not only do the concussive shells slow them down, but they'll be able to soak the hits pretty well. Oh no!
Free Banelings! Free Banelings! Come on!
That, and hang on, he doesn't actually have concussive shells.
Oh. Okay.
It's a really cheap upgrade, but it's a really critical one when it comes to slowing down Banelings, catching roaches, chasing the army down. Oh god, he's just got to drag the Marines back. Like, have the Marauders stay. There we go, drag the Marines back, but he drags them back into the Banelings. But the focus fire from Drewbie's too good, reacting way too fast, way too quickly. He spreads as best he can, and the Banelings can't quite connect to these Marines, but they chew through the Marauders finally, and will they be able to break this? There's still some Mutalisks behind it, but the Banelings are a little too much. Wow. What? How?
Wow.
How?
That looked fine. That was, and then I look at the supplies, and he's down by 70 supply.
And that was 2-2 upgrades in the favor of Drewbie. Cham still doesn't have his 2-2. Like, this is one of those moments where even I'm like, come on, David Kim, what the hell just happened? Jesus Christ.
What did just happen there?
That looked like a perfect engagement for Drewbie, honestly.
That looked like a perfectly fine trade, especially for someone who's on 4 bases.
Banelings
and instead he's down by 60 supply.
Banelings and Zerglings just a little too much. All jokes aside about balance, guys, we do have, again, the Mutalist count's been kept low, and this is why he's had so many Banelings and Zerglings, but it's been slowly building up. Now we're up to 23. He's been building in like 1 or 2 at a time, not usually that quick 10 max reinforcement type thing. But these Widowmites have got to get some heroic hits if he wants to stay in this game, because this is a lot of Banelings once again coming out right outside of his base. Oh, this Thor! What was this Thor even thinking?
Thinking death, that's what.
Pretty much. Actually, it kites back through these chokes. Can use the Marauders to try and soak some more of the Baneling hits. Not too bad, but I don't know if he's going to have enough Marines for this. There just seems like there's too much Zerg. The supplies are way too imbalanced. And it looks like Cham is going to qualify for Copa America.
The amount... I think the composition was not the greatest for Drewbie, as he's pretty much going to lose this game. He's down by about 100 supply, and on top of the protection is death for a Terran player. But a lot of Marauders were okay against the Roaches, but as we saw, Cham was slowly just adding on Lings, and Lings are very effective against Marauders.
Well, that one amazing miracle engagement really carried him ahead. But that'll send Cham through. So Cham has officially qualified at this point, guys. But he's not done with his day yet. He still has to play another matchup to determine whether he goes to the finals match or the third place match. And he'll be playing the winner of Darkness versus Thunder. One of the only Protoss players. The only 2 Protoss players are playing against each other right now. Go figure.